The handicapped.
Cripple.
Deaf and dumb.
Dwarf.
Retard.
Vegetative.
Epileptic.
Fit.
Patient.
Autistic person.
Spastic.
Confined to a wheelchair. Abnormal. Invalid.
Mongol.
Stop. Think about it. Have you ever been called fat, too thin, a giant, too short, dumb, a loser, a nerd, ugly, stupid? How did it make you feel? Language is such an important part of how we shape our views of others, how we display our feelings towards others, and what we think about others. It also plays a critical role in shaping how others feel about themselves. 1 in 5 Australians has a disability. How many people have you spoken to today? How many of those people may have had a disability that you were not aware of? You should not judge people on the basis of what is apparent to you. Do you ever think about the language you are using and the negative connotations it may imply? The fact that it may be offensive and derogatory to the people around you? It is not the disabilities that people have that separates them from society, it is society itself. Inappropriate terms and catchphrases dehumanize the individual by simply referring to them as their disability. Meet John. John lives in a town in Australia. From the time when he graduated high school, he worked at the local newspaper and worked his way up the ranks until he became the editor. He held this job until recently, when he ran a successful campaign and became the mayor of his town. John has a solid network of friends and is happily married. John was in a car accident at a young age and no longer has the use of his legs. John uses a wheelchair and through his youth was constantly taunted with the term cripple. Was this the mental image you had painted of John? People are so much more than their disability. Stereotypical depictions of people with disabilities have lowered our expectations and understanding of what they can and do achieve. Meet Erica. Erica is a 21-year-old waitress who works at her local coffee shop. Erica has an intellectual impairment. Meet Tom. Tom works on a farm in outback Australia. He lost one of his hands in a machinery accident. Meet Jane. Jane is happily married and has 2 daughters. Jane has multiple sclerosis. Meet Nick. Nick is an 8-year-old boy whose favourite things are trucks and chocolate milk. Nick has autism. Parallels and relationships between these 4 people's day-to-day lives are not easily seen. So why is it that society lumps them all into one group and simply refers to them as the disabled or the handicapped? Such broad generalisations disassociate the individuals with their self-identity and simply equate the individual to the disability. People with disabilities are part of the community. People with disabilities have feelings, annoyances, desires, goals, emotions, aims, frustrations, wants and needs. People with disabilities are just like everyone else in the community. Words hurt. Put the person first.
People with disabilities.
Person with Down syndrome.
Uses a wheelchair. Person with autism.
Person with an intellectual disability.
Has a physical disability. Short-statured person.
Person with a disability.
Has a physical disability.
Person with cerebral palsy.
Person with a disability.